Huh?
30 Mataji, 9.30.
From 30.
9.30. We are not completed the chapter, right? Now Krishna says, I am equal to everyone. In the previous verse, Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maititeshu chapyaham. But if a devotee serves me, if a devotee serves me in great devotion, then I am his friend and he is in me. Krishna has a very nice personal relationship with every devotee. And even if a devotee falls down, apiche suduracharo, today 9th chapter, 30th verse. Apiche suduracharo, bhajate mam ananya bhag, sadureva samantavya, samyak vivasito hisaham. Even if a devotee falls down out of some circumstances, unavoidable circumstances, or unknowingly he falls down, then still Krishna says, because he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered as saintly. He is properly situated in his determination. Very important. It is the moral responsibility of every devotee to be very careful in his speech, in his words, in his actions, in his thought. Accidentally did something wrong, but still he's a sadhu. Still he will be considered as sadhu. Api chet sudurachara. But that doesn't mean that you always do a sin based on the strength of the holy name. Seventh naam apradis, namno balad yasyahi papa buddhi. On the strength of holy name, we cannot commit offenses. We cannot criticize anyone. Very important. We cannot criticize anyone, especially those who are walking on the path of devotional service. But anyone also, Krishna has told, don't criticize anyone. So that is why it is very clearly, it has been told, you just have to walk in devotional service. That is more important. We just have to follow what our Srila Prabhupada has done. Srila Prabhupada warns that don't criticize anyone. If we want to progress, just speak about Krishna. If you really want to progress in devotional service, speak about Krishna, speak about Chaitanya. Be happy, be peaceful. So in this way, even if the person has, suppose by mistake he has fallen down, abominable activity he has done, still there is no loss for him. Krishna says, I'll consider him a saintly. Now, what is the difference between a fall down of a materialistic person and a fall down of a devotee? When devotee falls down, he will not be removed from the devotional service. But the bliss which is experienced in the devotional service, that way he will not get. Fall down of a materialistic person, going back in this 84 lakh spaces. Devotee did not have to go back in the 84 lakh spaces. Anyhow, he'll get human life. He'll get again the chance to do devotional service. But because of the aparadha pravrutti, he will not experience the bliss. That is more important. He will not be experiencing the bliss. Okay. Saurabh Prabhu, read. So this is very clear now. What is the consequences of a person in devotion if he does some aparadhas? Aparadha means no radha, no bliss. But he will not be thrown out of devotion. Aparadha, isn't it? No radha, no bliss. But a materialistic person, yes, he has to go back again in the 84 lakh spaces, will suffer more.
Api chetsu duracharo bhajate maman anya mam
ananya
bhag sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hisaha. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. The word sudurachara used in this verse is very significant and we should understand it properly. When a living entity is conditioned, he has two kinds of activities. One is conditional and the other is constitutional. As for protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities, even for the devotees, in connection with the conditional life, and such activities are called conditional. Besides these, the living entity who is fully conscious of his spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or the devotional service of the Lord has activities which are called transcendental. Such activities are performed in his constitutional position, and they are technically called devotional service. Now, in the conditioned state, sometimes devotional service and the conditional service in relation to the body will parallel one another. But then again, sometimes these activities become opposed to one another. As far as possible, a devotee is very cautious so that he does not do anything that could disrupt his wholesome condition. He knows that perfection in his activities depends on his progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some acts which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically. But such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, being situated within his heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the process of devotional service is always success. No one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path. For, as explained in the next verse, such occasional fall downs will be stopped in due course as soon as the devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness and is engaged with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, should be considered to be in the transcendental position, even if by chance or accident he is found to have fallen. The word sadhureva, he is saintly, are very emphatic. They are a warning to the non-devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly even if he has accidental fall down. And the word mantavya is still more emphatic. If one does not follow this rule and derides a devotee of his accidental fall down, then one is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. The only disqualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in devotional service. In Narasimha Purana, the following statement is given: Bhagavati cha hara ananya cheta.
Wait. Bhagavati cha haravananya cheta bhushamadhinopi virajate manusyah nahi shashakalusha chabi kadache timira para bhavatam upaiti chandraha. Read.
The meaning is that even if one fully engaged in the devotional service of the Lord is sometimes found engaged in abominable activities, these activities should be considered to be like the spots that resemble the mark
Why are
of
you
a
reading
rabbit
so
on
fast? Why are you reading so fast? Read slowly. Yeah.
The meaning is that even if one fully engaged in the devotional service of the Lord is sometimes found engaged in abominable activities, these activities should be considered to be like the spots that resemble the mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such spots do not become an impediment to the diffusion of moonlight. Similarly, the accidental fall down of a devotee from the path of saintly character does not make him abominable. On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee is transcendental devotional service. In transcendental devotional service, can act in all kinds of abominable ways. This verse only refers to an accident due to the strong power of material connections. Devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusory energy. As long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusory energy, there may be accidental fall downs. But when one is strong enough, he is no longer subjected to such fall downs, as previously explained. No one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. If he does not improve in his character by devotional service, then it is to be understood that he is not a high devotee.
Yes. Next. क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वत शान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्ता प्रणश्यति. So in this verse it is explained what will happen to him. Krishna says, don't worry. If there is an accidental fall down, Shipram, very soon what will happen? Shashwat Shantim Nigachati. He will attain lasting peace. Dharmatma. Anyhow, is a righteous person. He did not do it intentionally. There is something known as intentional crime. Or intentionally you are doing some offenses. One is, it's not intentional. If it is not intentional, then Krishna says he is a Dharmatma. Shashwat Shanti, he will attain lasting peace. And Krishna says, my devotees will never perish. Name bhakta prayachati. This shloka should be always chanted when you blow the shankana. This shloka anyashintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. This word yogakshemam vahamyam is very important. Here this word name bhakta prayachati is very important. My devotees will never perish. But that doesn't mean that you take undue advantage of Krishna. Krishna loves devotees. Even if you have done small thing, Krishna never forgets. In Ramayana, very clearly it is said, if you do a small thing, Rama never forgets. He feels himself indebted to the devotee. And if he has unknowingly done some mistake, accidentally he fell down, Krishna says, don't worry. Soon he will attain Shashwat Shantim Nigachati. He will attain the eternal peace. Okay, Gita Mataji, read. Read.
Hare Krishna. क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वत शान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्त प्रणश्यति. Translation. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kundi, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Purport. This should not be misunderstood. In the 7th chapter, the Lord says that one who is engaged in mischievous activities cannot become a devotee of the Lord. One who is not a devotee of the Lord become Lord has no good qualifications whatsoever. The question remains then, how can a person engage in abdominal activities either by accident or by intention be a pure devotee? This question may justly be raised. The miscreants, as stated in the 7th chapter, who never come to the devotional service of the Lord, have no good qualification, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Generally, a devotee who is engaged in the 9 kinds of devotional activities is engaged in the process of cleansing all material contamination from the heart. He puts the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, and all sinful contaminations are naturally washed away. Continuous thinking of the Supreme Lord makes him pure by nature. According to the Vedas, there is a certain regulation that if one falls down from his exalted position, he has to undergo certain ritualistic processes to purify himself. But there is no such condition, because the purifying process is already there in the heart of the devotee due to his remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare should be continued without stoppage. This will protect a devotee from all accidental fall downs. He will thus remain perpetually free from all material contaminations.
One thing is true, the devotee in any circumstances, even if he has done aparadha, he will remember Krishna's name. It's not that he will not chant, he will chant. But the bliss in the chanting will not be experienced, but he will be chanting. Because of this chanting, somehow Krishna will protect him. On the strength of the holy name, if he again does, then Krishna has to deal with him. मामी पार्थ विपाश्रित्यः येऽपि स्युपापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यस्तथा शूद्रस्तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम्. Krishna says, those who have taken shelter of me, even though they may be from lower birth, papayoni. Who are the papayoni? Women. Now all women Matajis will feel bad. Will you feel bad? Papayoni. So once it so happened, Prabhupada, when he taught this verse, all the brahmacharis were teasing Malti Mataji, Papayoni, Papayoni. So then Prabhupada said, you're affected? No, I am not the body and soul. Technically, everybody is three only. Technically, everybody is Prakriti. Understanding Krishna is the only Purusha. Then, here, the women which has been spoken, they are the prostitutes. Are the prostitutes. Or are the ladies who are not having desire to progress. But still, if they take the shelter of Krishna, then they can attain supreme destination. There's a lot of difference between a woman and a mother. Difference is there, or there is a lot of difference between a woman and a mother. That is why in our movement we call everybody Mataji. Because we address them as mother. They are not just women. They are mother. So, Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras. Vaishyas means the mercantile people, Shudra, the lower class people. Even though they are coming from such poor background, but still they can attain supreme destination just because they have taken shelter of Krishna. Okay. Mayur Prabhu, read. Read Prabhu.
मामी पार्थ व्यापाश्रित्य
व्यापाश्रित्य नहीं व्यापाश्रित्य
ये स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्रा अस्तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम्. Purport. Meaning, O son of Partha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas and Shudras, can attain the supreme destination. Purport. It is clearly declared here by the Supreme Lord that in devotional service there is no distinction between the lower and higher classes of people. In the material conception of life, there are such divisions. But for a person engaged in transcendental devotional service to the Lord, there are not. Everyone is eligible for the supreme destination. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18, it is stated that even the lowest who are called chandalas, dog eaters, can be purified by association with the pure devotee. Therefore, devotional service and the guidance of a pure devotee are so strong that there is no discrimination between the lower and higher classes of men. Anyone can take to it. The most simple man taking shelter of the pure devotee can be purified by proper guidance. According to the different modes of material nature, men are classified in the mode of goodness, Brahmanas, the mode of passion, Kshatriyas or administrators, the mixed mode of passion and ignorance, Vaishyas or merchants, and the mode of ignorance, Shudras or workers. Those lower than them are called Chandalas, and they are born in sinful families. Generally, the association of those born in sinful families is not accepted by the higher classes. But the process of devotional service is so strong that a pure devotee of Supreme Lord can enable people of all the low classes to attain the highest perfection of life. This is possible only when one takes shelter of Krishna. as indicated here by the word vyap- vyap- vyaprashita,
Vyapashitya. Vyapashitya.
vyapashitya. One has to take shelter completely of Krishna. Then one can become much greater than great jnanis and yogis. Hare Krishna.
Vyapashitya means taking shelter. Okay? Kim punarbrahmana, kim punarbrahmana punya, bhakta rajarshayas Anityam sukham lokam imam prapya bhajasva mam. Kim puna brahmana punya bhakta rajarshayastata anityam sukham lokam imam prapya bhajasva mam. So he may be a righteous brahmana. He may be, no, he, when in this verse, the comparison is given to the previous verse, 32nd verse. When Papa Yoni can get such a wonderful destination, then what to speak about Brahmanas, Bhaktas, and Rajarishis? So, they have come to this material world, but this is anityam. Anyhow, it is temporary, full of misery, but they are engaged in devotional service to me. Prapya bhajaswamam. They are engaged in devotional service unto me. So how much more this is so of the righteous brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. When Krishna can give such opportunity even to the lowest species or Papa Yonis, you can say, then what to speak about the great personalities, Raja, Vishnu, devotees, then brahmanas, righteous brahmanas. In this way, the comparison is given with the previous verse. Okay. Aditya, read.
Hare Krishna. Kim puna brahmana punya bhaktya rajarshayas anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasva mam. Translation. How much more this is so of the righteous brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Purport. In this material world, there are classifications of people, but after all, this world is not a happy place for anyone. It is clearly stated here, Anityam Asukham Lokam. This world is temporary and full of miseries, not habitable for any sane gentleman. This world is declared by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be temporary and full of miseries. Some philosophers, especially Mayavadi philosophers, say that this world is false, but we can understand from Bhagavad Gita that the world is not false, it is temporary. There is a difference between temporary and false. This world is temporary, but there is another world which is eternal. This world is miserable, but the other world is eternal and blissful. Arjuna was born in a saintly royal family. To him also the Lord says, take to my devotional service and come quickly back to Godhead, back home. No one should remain in this temporary world full as it is with misery. Everyone should attach himself to the bosom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that he can be eternally happy. The devotional service of the Supreme Lord is the only process by which all problems of all classes of men can be solved. Everyone should therefore take to Krishna consciousness and make his life perfect. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Everyone should therefore take to Krishna consciousness and make his life perfect. So devotional service is the only process. Now Krishna says, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishasya yuktaivam atmanam matparayanaham. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishasya yuktaivam atmanam matparayanaham. 2 times this verse has been spoken. In 18th chapter also you will find Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru Mame Vaishasi Satyam Te Pratijani Priyosi. May here Mame Vaishasi Yuktaivam Atmanam Matparayana. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will attain me. Yuktvevam. Yuktvevam means will be completely absorbed in me, and you will come to me. Mame eshyasi. Eva eshyasi. Completely you will come to me. Because you are devoted to me. Matparayanaham. You are devoted to me, that is why you will come back to me. Okay? Who will read? Pushpa Mataji, can you read? Or Aruna, you read? You read.
Hare
Yes, I
Krishna.
Ha, Mataji, you are reading?
yeah.
Read.
मन्मना भाव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु माम् एवैष्यसि युक्तैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are one and absolute. It is stated in the Kurma Puran as it is quoted by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhashya comments on Chaitanya Charitamrit, 5th chapter, Adi Leela, verses 41 to 48. Deha Dehi Bhedo Yam Nespare Vidyate Kvachit.
Kvachit.
This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know the science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. He was also thinking of Krishna always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love, that is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is that favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is eternal, blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise from the wrong source will prove fruitless. One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form, the primal form of Krishna, with conviction in his heart that Krishna is the Supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for the worship of Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, his activities, everything. That will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer to Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in the 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting about Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. The 7th and 8th chapters of Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord, that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahmajyoti and localized Paramatma, but a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental non devotional activities will diminish and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Godhead personally takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports to the 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the most confidential knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada said devotees are much superior to the philosophers, yogis. So even if there is an accidental fall down, it is not considered as a much severe offense, and Krishna protects the devotees. Now Vibhuti Yoga, 10th chapter. The opulence of the absolute.
Yes,
Shri
Mataji.
Bhagav,
Sorry.
yeah, any doubts in this?
yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
ask us.
Mataji, in one of the verses, in verse number 31, why Lord Krishna asked Arjuna to declare rather than him saying? How do we understand
Because
that?
devotees don't have faith in Krishna's words. He may go away from his words. That is why, but devotees say, then Krishna has to protect. Like Krishna told, I'll not take part in the war. But when Bhishma Pitama told, I'll see to that how Krishna does not take part in the war. To protect the words of Bhishma, Krishna took part in the war. Took Rathanga in his hand, Rathanga Pandi, Ratha's wheel, and ran towards Bhishma Pitama. Because when Bhishma Pitama had taken the vow that tomorrow I'll kill all the Pandavas, Krishna knew that Bhishma is very strong in his words. Krishna intentionally sends Draupadi, put the wheel and go. When she pays obeisances, so Bhagyavati. Thank you very much. Krishna says, Acha, this, who has planned this? Krishna has planned. Okay, I will also break his vow. He has broken my vow, I'll break his vow. And Krishna protects the vow of the devotees. And that is how the devotees know. The Krishna may go away from his words, but when devotee gives a word, Krishna has to fulfill. That is why devotees have more faith in devotees' words rather than Krishna's words. Krishna can go away, can't say. Okay?
Okay, Mataji. One more question, Mataji.
Yeah.
In 33rd verse, it was mentioned that this material world is temporary. Mataji, but initially, I think we discussed in the introduction that material nature is eternal, right? Only karma is non-eternal. So how do we understand it?
Prakriti is eternal. Prakriti means the elements are eternal. Form taken by elements are not eternal. Forms can change. When we are telling what is eternal, matter is eternal. The form taken by matter in the shape of universes, in the shape of the body, those forms are anityam, not eternal, but temporary. At the same time, but not mithya also. It's not false. Reflection is never false. Reflection is there because original object is there. That is why reflection is there. Okay?
Okay, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Any other doubt? No. 9th chapter, anybody has any doubt? No doubt. Okay, Vibhuti Yoga, 10th chapter. श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया। श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया। भूय एव, अगेन, महाबाहो, O mighty armed Arjuna, again listen, shunu me, listen again. Why? Because these are the supreme instruction, and I am giving this instruction just because Priyamanaya, you are you are very dear to me. For your benefit, I am giving this highest knowledge. You can listen again. I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. So I am giving this knowledge again just because you're very dear to me. And after hearing this knowledge, it will be benefiting you. It is for your benefit. Okay. Again, Krishna is going to speak Vibhuti Yoga. Okay. Ashish Upadhyay Prabhu, read.
श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वच यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained." The word Bhagwan is explained thus by Parasa Muni, one who is full in six opulence, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation, is Bhagwan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all six opulences. Therefore, great sages like Parasa Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now, in this chapter, he explained his specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotions in firm convictions. Again, in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations and various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme God, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional services. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to win Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Next. न मे विदुसुरगणा प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहमादिर्हि देवानां महर्षीणां च सर्वशः. Krishna says nobody can know me. Demigods can never know me. Nor the great sages know my origin or my opulences. Krishna says, I am the source of all the demigods and sages. Aham adirhi devanam. I am the source of all the demigods and great sages. Name vidu suragana prabhavam cha na maharshaya aham adirhi devana maharshinam cha sarvasha. So Vibhuti Yoga. Here Krishna says, I'll give you more knowledge. Till now Krishna saying, Krishna told that I am taste in water. I am the light in all luminaries. Now Krishna says, I am the source of everything. But nobody can know my origin. Okay. Who else will read? Priyanka Tripathi, can you read? Priyanka Mishra, sorry. Priyanka Mishra, can you read? Okay. Shilpa, can you read? Shilpa Patanki. Shilpa slept, I think. Slept. So this is nice
Mataji, I
thinking.
can hear you. No, Mataji.
Okay, read. One day what happened, I had gone to a devotee's house. I said, the Srila Prabhupada says, whom are you preaching? So generally we say we are preaching to everybody. Actually, we are preaching to ourselves, especially in the Zoom. If everybody is keeping their videos off, that person is only looking at himself, isn't it? So this is a good realization. The morning class, everybody's video is off. They're hearing or not, don't know. Okay, read. Name vidu suragana.
न मे विदुः सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहमादिर्हि देवानां महर्षिणां च सर्वशः Neither translation, neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Purport. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord. No one is greater than him. He is the cause of all causes. Here it is also stated by the Lord personally that he is the cause of all the demigods and sages. Even the demigods and great sages cannot understand Krishna. They can understand neither his name nor his personality. So what is the position of the so-called scholars of this tiny planet? No one can understand why this Supreme God comes to earth as an ordinary human being and executes such commonplace and yet wonderful activities. One should know then that scholarship is not the qualification necessary to understand Krishna. Even the demigods and the great sages have tried to understand Krishna by their mental speculation, and they have failed to do so. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is clearly stated that even the great demigods are not able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They can speculate to the limits of their imperfect senses and can reach the opposite conclusion of impersonalism, of something not manifested by the three qualities of material nature, or they can imagine something by mental speculation. But it is not possible to understand Krishna by such foolish speculation. Here the Lord indirectly says that if anyone wants to know the absolute truth, here I am present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the Supreme. One should know this. Although one cannot understand the inconceivable Lord who is personally present, he nonetheless exists. We can actually understand Krishna who is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, simply by studying his words in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. The impersonal Brahman can be conceived by persons who are already in the inferior energy of the Lord. But the personality of Godhead cannot be conceived unless one is in the transcendental position. Because most men cannot understand Krishna in his actual situation, out of his causeless mercy, he descends to show favor to such speculators. Yet, despite the Supreme Lord's uncommon activities, these speculators, due to contamination in the material energy, still think that the impersonal Brahman is the Supreme. Only the devotees who are fully surrendered unto the Supreme Lord can understand, by the grace of the Supreme Personality, that He is Krishna. The devotees of the Lord do not bother about the impersonal Brahman, concept of God. Their faith and devotion bring them to surrender immediately unto the Supreme Lord. And out of the causeless mercy of Krishna, they can understand Krishna. No one else can understand him. So even great sages agree. What is Atma? What is the Supreme? It is He whom we have to worship. Hare Krishna.
So even great sages agree what is our What is Atma and what is Supreme? It is He whom we have to worship. Okay. Next verse. Yomam ajam anadim cha vetti lokam maheshwaram asumudha samartishu sarvapapai pramuchyate. Yo mamajam anadim cha vetti lokamaheshwaram asammuda samartishu sarvapapai pramuchyate. Krishna says, Yaha mam. Whoever understands me as unborn ajam, anadim, without beginning, cha also, vetti knows, lokaha maheshwaram. Then he knows that I am the Maheshwara. He knows me as unborn, he knows me as beginless, he knows me as Maheshwara, the Supreme Master. Then he is never deluded asamudha. He is never deluded. Saha martyeshu sarva papaha pramuchyate. He is again freed from all the sins. Saha martyeshu sarva papa. So among the people who are subject to death, he is the person who is never deluded. That means this Martyaloka is known as Martyaloka, where a jiva gets a body which has to meet death. Now Krishna says among them, this person is not deluded. And he'll be freed from sin. These sins give us another body in the next life. Now this person will not get another body in the next life. Why? Because he knows Krishna is Ajam. Krishna is without beginning. Krishna is Mahaishvara. Krishna is a Supreme Master. So Srila Prabhupada starts the purport with Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Yatatam siddhanam kaschin mam vekti tatvatah. Out of 1,000, one will try to know me by different processes. Who is that energy? For some people, Krishna is energy. For some, Krishna is energetic. So who is that energy? कौन सा वो शक्ति है? अरे your शक्ति बाबा. Krishna is शक्तिमान. But sometimes people out of मूर्खता they say वो कौन सा शक्ति है? वो कौन सा शक्तिमान है? Who is that person from where all the energy is coming? So everybody are energy of Krishna. Somebody is in Tatastha position, somebody is in internal, somebody is in external. But Jiva comes in marginal potency. So here is out of 1,000, one will endeavor. And out of those 1,000, one will perfect. That means out of 10 lakhs, 1,000 into 1,000, how many zeros? 6 zeros. Out of 10 lakhs, one will attain perfection in knowing Krishna's position. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdate Bhagavatam speaks about it. Next year you can study in Bhakti Vaibhav. Very clearly it has been said. Vadanti tat tattvavidas. Very difficult to know about Krishna. But Vadanti, the scholar says, who say? The scholar says, one has to know Krishna's three aspects. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan. Three aspects to be known. Okay, Golokari.
Krishna, Mataji, can someone share with me the purport? I have a lot of coughing.
Okay, so Jai Shri Mataji will share. Jai Shri Mataji will read the whole purport. You read just the verse.
Okay.
And the translation.
Hare Krishna. Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asamudha samarthyeshu
Asamudha asamudha
asamudha samarthyeshu sarva papai pramuchyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme lord of all the worlds, he only undeluded among men is freed from all sins.
Hare Krishna. Purport. As stated in the 7th chapter, 7.3, Manushyanam sahasreshu kastyati siddhyaye. Those who are trying to elevate themselves to the platform of spiritual realization are not ordinary men. They are superior to millions and millions of ordinary men who have no knowledge of spiritual realization. But out of those actually trying to understand their spiritual situation, one who can come to the understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the proprietor of everything, the unborn, is the most successful spiritually realized person. In that stage only, when one has fully understood Krishna's supreme position, can one be free completely from all sinful reactions. Here the Lord is described by the word Aja, meaning unborn, but he is distinct from the living entities who are described in the second chapter as Aja. The Lord is different from the living entities who are talking birth and dying due to the material attachment. The conditioned souls are changing their bodies, but his body is not changeable. Even when he comes to his material world, he comes as the same unborn. Therefore, in the fourth chapter, it is said that the Lord, by his internal potency, is not under the inferior material energy, but is always in the superior energy. In this verse, the words Vettiloga Maheshwaram indicate that one should know that the Lord Krishna is the supreme proprietor of the planetary system of the universe. He was existing before the creation and he is different from his creation. All the demigods were created within this material world, but as far as Krishna is concerned, it is said that he is not created. Therefore, Krishna is different even from the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva. And because he is the creator of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods, he is the supreme person of all planets. Sri Krishna is therefore different from everything that is created, and anyone who knows him as such immediately becomes liberated from all sinful reactions. One must be liberated from all sinful activities to be in the knowledge of Supreme Lord. Only by devotional service can he be known and not by any other means, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. One should not try to understand Krishna as a human being. As stated previously, only a foolish person thinks him to be a human being. This is again expressed here in the different way. And a man who is not foolish, who is intelligent enough to understand the constitutional position of Godhead, is always free from all sinful reactions. If Krishna is known as the son of Devaki, then how can he be unborn? That is also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. When he appeared before Devaki and Vasudeva, he was not born as an ordinary child. He appeared in his original form and then he transformed himself into an ordinary child. Anything done under the direction of Krishna is transcendental. It cannot be contaminated by material reactions, which may be auspicious or inauspicious. The conception that there are things auspicious and inauspicious in the material world is more or less a mental connection because there is nothing auspicious in the material world. Everything is inauspicious because the very material nature is inauspicious. We simply imagine it to the auspicious. Real auspiciousness depends on activities in Krishna consciousness in full devotion and service. Therefore, if we at all want our activities to be auspicious, then we should work under the directions of Supreme Lord. Such directions are given in authoritative scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, or from a bona fide spiritual master, because the spiritual master is the representative of the Supreme Lord. His direction is directly the direction of his Supreme Lord. The spiritual master, saintly persons, and scriptures direct in the same way. There is no contradiction in these three sources. All actions done under such directions are free from the reactions of pious or impious activities of this material world. The transcendental attitude of the devotee in the performance of activities as equally that of the renunciation. And this is called sannyasa. As stated in the first verse of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one who acts as a matter of duty because he has been ordered to do so by the Supreme Lord, and who does not seek shelter in the fruits of his activities. Anasrit karma phalam. He is the true renouncer.
Anashitaha karma phalam.
Anasutaha karma phalam. He is the true renouncer. Anyone acting under the directions of the Supreme Lord is actually a sannyasi and a yogi, and not the man who has simply taken the dress of the sannyasi or a pseudo yogi. Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll stop here. Any questions you can ask.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji just wanted to check about Arjuna's past life, that he got an opportunity staying with Krishna. So, कैसे मतलब हुआ? Arjuna's past life, I'm not aware about it.
There is nice story behind this Sahasra Kavach story.
Okay.
There was a demon. His name was Sahasra Kavach. He had 1,000 Kavach. From there, they are eternal associates. Who spoke now? They are eternal associates. Arjuna and Krishna, it's not that Arjuna has done some pious, then he became Krishna's. They are eternal associates. Eternal Parshadas. And that is how during Naranarayan Rishi's time, both are, the time Narayana is fighting with this Asura, Sahasra Kavach. It was said that odd, it is said 1, 2, 1 Arjuna will do, then
Krishna.
1 Krishna will do, 2 Arjuna will do. Between that, they should do tapasya. When Krishna is fighting, so one who is doing? Krishna is doing. When Krishna is fighting, Arjuna has to do a lot of tapasya. So that Narayan Rishi, they are doing tapasya. When Arjuna is fighting, Krishna has to do tapasya. Nara has to do the tapasya. And Narayana has to do the tapasya. When Nara is fighting, Narayana will do. Narayana is fighting, Nara will do. Whether 999 became, this Sahasra Kavach, 1,000. Then he ran away from there. When he ran away from there, then Lord told, in the next lifetime, Arjuna will fulfill that. And that is how Karna, who was Sahasra Kavach, who had 1,000 Kavach, he is born with 1 Kavach in this lifetime. And Arjuna kills Karna. So they are coming from where you see Naranara and Rishi. Both are doing tapasya. They are eternal Parshadas.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. In Badrika Ashram, we discussed this past time. There is Narayana and Rishi, 2 hills are there, Nara and Narayana. Okay, anyone else? Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, tell. Tell.
Here it is written that all demigod don't know the position of Krishna, but they are the eh, they are the they manage this world, na demigod. So they should be knowing about Lord.
Not necessary. Krishna may not reveal. Like under Modi, there are so many administrators. Everybody need not know the rahasya of Modi. Krishna need not reveal to everyone. Krishna tells in Bhagavatam, Tene Brahmurdaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya. They cannot even understand my Vrajalila. That is why Brahmaji got bewildered when he saw Krishna sitting with all his friends, doing wonderful give and take. Somebody is filling flour in the samosa and putting in Krishna's mouth. Krishna is Feeling, what is this? What type of taste? Then somebody is speaking up from his mouth, putting in his mouth. Brahmaji seeing this Leela is completely bewildered. At the time it is said, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavai. I have given the knowledge to Brahma within the heart. But still, Muyanti et Surya, my sweetness need not be known by everyone. Like a man goes outside, he's in a very good position. What is he doing inside the house? He may be the managing director. He may be the judge in the court. People know him. People are working under him. But in the house, he becomes a donkey for his child, for his grandchild. Everybody need not know his sweetness. Like grandfather's back, they sit, making the grandfather a donkey or a horse, whatever it is. So sweetness is hidden by Krishna. Everything is revealed. But his dealings with Brajavasis is not revealed to everyone. His dealings with his intimate devotees is also not revealed to everyone. Okay.
In ninth chapter, we talk about that when we do any aparadha, then the bliss is not there. So without
What? What
means
is not there? Peace is not there.
bliss. So
Bliss is
without
not.
Radha Rani without that place, how can devotee work in the devotional part? So he is more entitled to material partner then, because he's not finding peace.
What?
He will be not in the भक्ति में नहीं रहेगा ना वो तो निकल जाएगा क्योंकि उसको यहाँ पे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है तो
There is difference between bliss and being, okay, chanting. The type of happiness, the type of involvement in the devotional service will be reduced. The interest in devotional service will be increased, but still he will continue. Holy name will not go out from his mouth. Holy name
But
will not go out of his mouth. He may go away. He may go away from the devotional service. But holy name will not go. But that will bring him back. The only hope is the holy name, which will bring a person back. Okay. So we'll stop here. Vaishnave Namo Namah Samve Vaishnavindra ki Jai Shri Prabhupada.